Hi, I'm Sharon Tang, and this is Evening Highlights. The TPPA has been hailed as many things: transformational, a gigantic foundation stone, a ticking time bomb. Economist Jomo K.S, for one, thinks it's definitely a bad deal for Malaysia. Jomo is particularly concerned about a stronger intellectual property regime and its threat to affordable medicine.
There are now people who you can call vulture capitalists, if you like, who go around basically buying up potentially drugs which will bring in tremendous revenues. They are not involved in developing the drug or anything like that. They basically buy up the patent and then charge as much as they think they can get.
And as to the actual trade advantage, he believes Malaysia will be getting the short end of the stick. For instance, Malaysia has been producing solar panels, but under the pact, it would not be able to sell them in the US and elsewhere. The Ministry of International Trade and Industry has promised that national interest would not be compromised under the deal.
It depends on the decision of Parliament at the end of the day. And then you go to Cabinet. Now, whether we sign or we ratify, it all depends on Parliament. At the end of the day, the important thing is we must all be sure that this works for Malaysia.
The regional trade accord involves 11 Asian and Pacific Rim countries and the United States. Among others, it aims to lower trade barriers and establish uniform rules on intellectual property. A quick look now at how the market reacted to the TPPA conclusion. The FBM KLCI rose about 1% after Pacific trade ministers reached a consensus yesterday, also cheering the market an expected delay in the US rate hike. At the close, the CI gained 15 points to close at 1662. The market saw 2 billion shares worth about 2 billion ringgit traded. Reuters reported today that the positive development on the Pacific trade deal has spurred gains across Southeast Asian stock markets. Malaysia is planning to curb crude palm oil imports from Indonesia. This is to manage stock levels and stabilise the price of the commodity. Plantation Industries and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Douglas Uga Embas says the government is hoping to reduce the country's palm oil inventory level to below 2 million tonnes. That's down from the inventory level for August of 2.5 million tonnes. He says if nothing is done, palm oil inventory would exceed 3 million tonnes by next month. He says the government is merely minimising the volume of imports and not banning it outright. The volume is to be reduced via replanting incentives put in place beginning October 1st. The cabbies are not going to be pleased. The Land Public Transport Commission, or SPAD, says it's looking for a way to regulate Uber and GrabCar instead of banning the services outright. But it's going to be a bit tricky because these ride-booking services are not within its legal framework.
As far as we know, that any providers of taxis need to operate within the law, within the Malaysian laws. And my officers are doing what they are within the law.
So you're convinced that they are doing
yes,
according to
the law. But having said that, as I mentioned, we understand the solutions provided by Uber and GrabCar and the sentiments of the people relating to it. I think you must find a solution towards that, taking into account at the end of the day, rakyat's needs comes first and foremost.
SPAD impounded around 100 Uber and GrabCar vehicles in last month's crackdown for offering illegal taxi services.
Well, it's impounded at the moment, so until there's a change in the law, we cannot go beyond what the law applies. But what my message is that we need to find solutions, right, towards this new technology.
The vehicles will only be released after the court cases are over. Bersih has declared the breakdown of its funds. The electoral watchdog is now asking Datuk Seri Najib Razak to do the same. According to Bersih, most of the 2.6 million ringgit it collected came from public donations for the Bersih 4 rally in August. Bersih committee member Thomas Fan says Bersih has shown its accounts and now it's Najib's turn.
He also questioned us, show us who are your donors. Well, here they are. And these are the Malaysian public, all 27,000 of them. Not one single donor from the Middle East.
He was referring to the 2.6 billion ringgit political donation deposited into the Prime Minister's personal accounts, which is said to have come from a Middle Eastern donor. Meanwhile, Treasurer Mas Jaliza Hamzah says the Prime Minister's credibility would disappear if he doesn't respond accordingly.
For the Prime Minister, it's a single donor, we think, right? So it's much easier for him to divulge. For us, it's 1,026 pages of bank statement, which, if you want to trace it all, I think, I don't know how, as an exercise of accountability, I don't know how useful that is.
Najib and several Barisan Nasional leaders had earlier accused Bersih of double standards because they had not declared their own accounts. Before we wrap up evening highlights, we've all seen how badly AirAsia's shares have been burned. Now a report says the budget carrier may be taken private. Details in tomorrow's Financial Daily. I'm Sharon Tang. Thanks for watching.